What is up everyone, Talon here and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a very unique and a rare airsoft replica that we're going to be talking about and looking over. This is one that I've personally had in my collection. In fact, the one that we are going to be looking at today is one that I personally owned, ended up selling it to a close friend of mine that still is in his collection. So I am very familiar with this rifle system, having A, disassembled it a bunch of times for cleaning, maintenance, B, gotten it to indoor field regulation so I could play with it indoors, and then playing it with it limitedly outdoors as well. So I am familiar with this system. I'm also going to be explaining some of the back history, but first let's introduce it. So this is going to be the KWA Chris Vector. This is the gas blowback model in particular, so it's not like the battery powered replicas that you see more commonly nowadays. This is the bona fide discontinued unicorn rifle that not a whole lot of people have in their collection. And unfortunately, we're going to be talking about in a little bit about the options that are currently on the used market and how bullshit they are. But before we even go over the rifle in particular, we do have to give some special thanks. A special thank you to Milwaukee Custom Kydex, mckydex.com. You can find the links in the description below as well as in one of the headers up here. He is the one that is currently giving us the space in order to do a lot of these reviews, overviews, and even shooting videos that we're able to do on this channel here. So go to his website down below. I do have a coupon code Talon_Meyer to get you 15% off of your order today. Go and check him out, please. Again, link in the description below. He is currently the holsters that I primarily use, well, I currently exclusively use. Same with his pistol mag carriers, AR mag carriers, and radio carriers. He has also given us the Chris Vector elongated magazine holster so that you, in the future, if you are looking for a hard Kydex holster for your Vector magazines, look no further. He has some available. Again, link in the description below. The other thanks that we need to give is going to be to a friend of the channel. He is the one that currently owns the Chris Vector, the one that I used to own. So he currently has this on loan with us. Special thank you to him as well. He is not doing anything as far as gas or BBs, but he is my workout partner, so he better show up to some of the workouts we're doing later today. So that being out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the rifle in particular. Now, a little bit of a backstory. When I was in high school, so what are you doing on your first gen iPhones? You're currently just scouring the internet, looking at different things within your hobby. I happen to still be an airsoft nerd, so I was just going through some of the new releases, some of the teases of some airsoft products, and I was watching some of the things discussed about the KWA Chris Vector. However, being kind of a young adult, I was certainly influenced by movies, by video games. Even nowadays, I'm playing BattleBit, and I can't tell you the amount of times that I have died to the Chris Vector due to the mitigated recoil even within a video game environment. It's still getting utilized a lot. It still is extremely present nowadays. It has not gone away whatsoever. People still love it. So why would someone, a company like KWA, get rid of a gas blowback model that is extremely popular and extremely prevalent? Well, unfortunately, the KWA Vector got discontinued due to the fact that they did not have the official license to put onto their trademarked KWA Vector. So at the time, a lot of real firearm companies were actually getting into caring a little bit more about their airsoft counterparts. Now, contrary to popular belief, real firearm manufacturers are not actually manufacturing airsoft replicas themselves. Take, for example, one of the most popular real firearms for concealed carry, the Glock 19 Gen 3, Gen 4, or Gen 5, whatever have you. The airsoft model is distributed by a company called Elite Force here in the US. The manufacturer is a company by the name of VFC, and they are a Taiwanese airsoft replica manufacturer, and they've been doing manufacturing for years. I personally really like the VFC rifles, AEGs, and gas blowback, so I am A-okay with the VFC base. It's distributed by Elite Force, but Glock USA has its actual stamp of approval in order to give VFC the permission to put the Glock trademarks onto these airsoft replicas. Back in the day, real firearm manufacturers didn't care, or airsoft wasn't nearly as cool as what it is nowadays. So real gun manufacturers didn't really give much of a shit whatsoever. But back in the day when KWA first released these into the USA, they did not have the official Chris USA trademarks or the stamp of approval from Chris USA. So Chris USA heard some rumors. They saw a bunch of posts about these from KWA being out onto the market, and they gave KWA a cease and desist letter. So KWA had to discontinue distribution here in the US, and they altogether discontinued production of this model in particular, which is a shame. It is very cool, it is very fun, it is very unique, and it is something that I personally enjoy. But while I have this unicorn of a rifle, let's spend some time shooting. But I should note that I'm gonna have the shooting portion on fixed TV and not on here. I mean, you'll have a little bit of a teaser for YouTube, but YouTube overall just doesn't like that I share anything of this. All right. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do close target, and then we'll transition to second target, and then we've got a third target back there, and then we'll go to our second shooting spot and do 1, 2, and then 3 on semi. I know I was shooting over. So we've got 2 5s loaded up into the rifle right now, and we're gonna do a little bit of a Joule test right here. 3.6, right? No. There we go, the 1. Not the Joule centimeters, just joules. 1 Joule. 1.04, 1.02, 0.99, and we've got a double feed, unfortunately. Pull that back, clear that out. Re-rack, and 99, 1, 1. So what I'm gonna do is do a full auto here. So let's do rounds per second. As long as I got it off safe, right? And I'll smack the shit out of my 17 it says there. Let's reload this up. All right, I gotta shoot offhand here because I am otherwise touching shoulders. So let's do rounds per second. Got a jam. But 16 rounds per second. Clear that jam out. Keep that cycled up again. There, we've got a good burst. 15 rounds per second. And we've got 5 more. Let's see if I can do all 5 in sequence here. And we've got a lock back as well. Last one. There we go. Now we're completely empty. So we've got a drop to around 270. Let's take a look here. Oh, we actually had something drop down to around 230, 223 is the lowest that I see right now. So when we're doing full auto, we're losing a lot of compressed gas, and so we're actually losing a fucking shit ton of performance. right here. Pretty good grouping, consisting that three, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So at about 50 feet, we're getting just enough rise. I think that went just better. So halfway, impact. That went over. So I knew that we already were going to get one real low, so we've got one right here. We've got a BB stuck right here, see that? And we've got 2 right here with another BB stuck. So the overall function is that this rifle is designed for speed within the real world, as well as just an easy functioning SMG PDW for law enforcement and military to utilize. Now, this one in particular that I've had for a couple of years is pretty finicky. If you're a little slow on the bolt draw back, it does catch itself. So you just need to give it a little bit of a slap in order to get that bolt back forward. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a quick tip to butt, some functionality as well, since maybe some of you guys are not familiar with a close-up model of what this would look like. So up in the very front of the muzzle here, we have both the flashlight as well as the barrel. This one is not threaded for 14 counterclockwise. If I remember, this is a 16 or it's a 12. It's either a size up or a size down, so you do need an adapter, or you need to have a very specific tracer unit or muzzle device in order to attach a cool mock suppressor to the very front here. Directly to the left and right are going to be Picatinny mounts. Now on this end, on the left-hand side, I currently don't have a Picatinny option. On the right-hand side, I do have a Picatinny mounted. So these are technically interchangeable, but it's going to give us Picatinny on the barrel side. This is nice if you're going to do any type of visible laser or infrared laser. You would be able to mount it to the left or to the right and have it in line with wherever your muzzle is pointed. That means that wherever that laser is, your point of impact on the muzzle is going to be just an inch or 2 to the left or to the right, depending on where you have the laser mounted. If you have a laser mounted on the very top rail system, you would need to do just a small little bit of calculation. Your laser is here, your point of impact is going to be so far down, only a couple of inches down from where that laser is going to be. So from what I've gathered, more people like to have that laser be as close to or as in line with the muzzle of your rifle system rather than sitting somewhere else. So maybe that was by design, maybe it wasn't, whatever have you. That's just one of the benefits. There is Picatinny on the very bottom here. We do have the classic Chris Vector vertical grip, as well as a small little stubby hand stop. You could remove this. I will say on the KWA version, that bottom rail system is very, very loose. So it does have a little bit of wobble to it. We have electrical taped our trigger for our flashlight here, if you can see that in broad daylight. So if anyone is smart enough, you can take a Vector mountable flashlight and you can integrate an LED for airsoft specifically. This is not an LED version. I don't know how easy it is to swap it out. If it's not clear, I'm not an engineer whatsoever, so I know nothing about electronics or how to properly fit shit. I'm just a smooth, monkey-brained 2A11 idiot. Along the very top here, we do have an entire Picatinny mount where you can have a plethora of optics, your top mounted flashlights as backups, a rangefinder, laser, whatever you want. You have more than an ample amount of rail space here to put whatever accessories you want for an SMG and PDW. On the left-hand side, and only on the left-hand side, we have our charging handle. Now this is designed to be a spring-loaded charging handle that's going to lay flat along the body of the rifle itself. Over the years of usage, there is a small little wear pattern where that charging handle is going to slap forward. So you'd be able to hook your finger into that groove. It's spring-loaded, so you'll be able to pop it out in order to get a full grip onto it. Pull that backwards. It's an SMG, so it's going to be a very short pull on that charging handle, and then you can just let it slap forward. Like I was saying before, if you are extra careful and you just let it ride forward, you assist it riding forward, that bolt on the inside here is going to get caught. So I can stick my finger inside of here, push it backwards a little bit in order to give it some momentum forward. And that just means it's either dirty or something is just a little bit out of alignment. These airsoft springs for your recoil are very weak, so over the years, it doesn't surprise me if something just got dirty on the inside of here. Some more wear pattern on the charging handle groove where the absolute back of it, the back of the charging handle slaps against the body of the receiver, and then on the inside where a groove of the charging handle resides, there's some pretty generous wear pattern on the inside of there. Just a little bit farther back and lower is going to be our bolt release. There's an interface here that's going to connect with the internal chassis of the body of the rifle itself. So that's why it's got a couple of grooves on there. So if you had an empty magazine, or you had your bolt backwards, like so, if you had an empty bolt, your bolt release would be sitting forward. The front position here would be jutting outwards. So you can hit that, and then your bolt's going to ride forward. Do that one more time. If you can see the bolt, hit that. You do need to be pretty tight on it. Otherwise, if you rack the charging handle and get that bolt riding back and forth, there's really nothing that this bolt release is going to do. It's really there just to release the bolt. Right underneath the bolt release is going to be a very large magazine release. Now, I will say that magazine releases on this Vector are a little bit odd. I do naturally tend to rotate the rifle to the left, cant it ever so slightly. I don't have large hands, but I can, in the pad of my hand right here, I can grab the magazine, reach my thumb up, and then just rip it out of the rifle itself. Because this is a gas blowback and because I don't have any type of spare magazines, I absolutely do not suggest dropping the magazine. Just in case if anything breaks on these guys, you are absolutely screwed. So be extra careful, retain the magazine on your Vector if you have one, because they don't make any others. The body of the receiver does have a couple of grooves as well as a recessed surface that you can lace your fingers into, whether you are left hand gripping or right hand gripping. It adds an extra point of tension that you can add to the rifle in order to control what little muzzle there is. So it's just a cool overall design there. Although I do find myself just grabbing onto the grip here. The Vector has, as you may have noticed, two flip selectors. So you have on the very front here your safe, semi, and full auto. What is unique that the back pedal is actually going to be your safety. You have your fire and you have your safe. So it's a double paddle that you need to be careful and aware of. It's not like an AR where you have just a single selector to go from safe, semi, and full auto or burst. You have multiple controls on this rifle in particular. The pistol grip I actually enjoy. I really like the feel of this pistol grip. You have your safety right up above here. I currently don't have a whole lot of issue other than the fact that when I am right behind the rifle, I typically have my pointer finger up and manipulating that selector. And then on the left-hand side here is going to be where I'm going to be flipping that safe, semi, or burst, or a semi-burst full auto. So I might be here, reach up and rotate this, But either way, the controls are just out of the way enough that I need to get my shooting hand or my support hand away from wherever my grip is in order to make any of those adjustments. The trigger itself is pretty good overall as a gas blowback trigger for a rather proprietary custom rifle system. I enjoy it. I don't have any gripes with this system whatsoever. I can be really fast. I can be really quick on it. You don't need to be installing any type of speed triggers or flat faces in order to get good with your trigger manipulation. You just need to be better. On the very bottom here, we do have a integrated storage system. When I had this in my collection, this is where I would put my hop-up adjustment tool. A lot of people will make jokes about your tactical skittle storage. Would not suggest it. You might be able to put some type of extra batteries or whatever the fuck you want. Just not any type of food items, I would suggest. And then you have going back your rotating stock. So you have a extremely large button on the left-hand side here that you need to push in order to get that stock to start to fold around. While the stock is folded, you can still do any type of manipulation. You can still fire it because that recoil spring is not coming through the back of the rifle itself. It's still retained in the body. So you can full on shoot, do whatever you need to while it's in this position right here. Where we have the stock set up, I a lot of times will just reach my hand through and just grab the entire stock in order to be that vertical grip. It's a little uncomfortable when I'm just doing just the vertical grip. I need to have some type of gross manipulation in order to feel like I'm in control without that third point of contact in my shoulder. That's just a gripe that I personally have. We do have a single sling up here that is rotating. I have never hung a sling from up here personally, just because I don't like anything that is not a quick disconnect or a replaceable sling mount. So I've just never done anything on this rifle in particular. There's not a whole lot of adjustments you can do on the stock itself. It is a 4 or a 3 position stock, but you're only making about a 1/4 inch adjustments. So you don't have a whole lot of adjustments if you're looking to adjust. You either have it folded or out. That's really it. Where it is out actually is a very good point of aim, or at least a position for me personally. The stock has a lot of surface area. The butt plate is plastic. It is not a polymer. It is a hard plastic, so it's not very fun as you're continuing to jam it into your shoulder. And I imagine that for the real rifle, it would not be a whole lot of fun either. But 45 or 9mm is not a hard punching cartridge. So with this rifle being discontinued, what are some alternatives that are currently on the market? KWA does have a battery powered option. It is called the TK45. They do have a TK45C. They do have it in the adjustable velocity or the electric recoil version as well. It's going to be the closest they can make as a vector replica without impeding any type of license or trademark laws and regulations. Right now, Crytek actually has the Chris license, and they do have a trademarked licensed airsoft replica that is battery powered that utilizes a very similar not recoil system, but AEG internal system that follows the same basic design as what the gas blowback or even real rifle is doing. Speaking of some used options for gas blowbacks, let's talk about those. Currently, there are only so many gas blowback vectors that are available on the market. Over the years, the number have diminished or dwindled ever so slightly. Some people that have purchased their vectors back in the day, 2010, 2012, may just be getting around to selling some of their old equipment. So they might not even realize what they have available. They just know that they paid around $360 for it, and they're willing to sell it at what is an appropriate used price point of maybe $250 or $275, right? That is a fair and appropriate price point for a stock Vector that has been utilized. All of these people that think it's some type of rare unicorn rifle system that even as they have modified it, they've done these HPA conversions to it, they include 3 spare magazines that have been HPA tapped, it does not increase the value of the rifle system. And here's what I'm talking about. If you have a 1964 Chromino, right? A mint condition, low mileage, undriven Chromino is worth this much money. If that Camino has been utilized as a family vehicle, has a bunch of miles on it, has been used, you are devaluing that vehicle substantially. And then the resale price point, even at a 64, is this much. Now, it doesn't matter what you do to this vehicle. If you change a bunch of shit on it, if you have replaced a bunch of shit on it that is no longer factory, that does not increase the value to exceed what this one is worth, right? It's the exact same thing as used cars, and airsofters don't fucking understand why their shit doesn't sell and why everyone rips into them. It's because it's not actually worth $1,300, you useless. Oh, now I'm getting actually aggravated. So long story short, know what your equipment is worth and do not try to sell it above what is actually fair. I get you may also be attached to it. Hop Up is currently just filled with absolute cancer of people just riding the price point up and over what it actually is supposed to be. Knock it off. It ticks me off whenever I go onto Hop Up, and that's why I never go on Hop Up, because people are selling their broken shit for far more than what it's actually worth. Gentlemen, that takes us to the end of the video today. This was designed to be more informational than it was entertaining for YouTube specifically, especially since they don't like shooting scary rifles such as this, even airsoft replicas. So hopefully this goes into maybe an airsoft collection, as far as on YouTube being able to reference this as something cool that the industry has seen. Maybe you as a player were able to have this in your collection, maybe shoot it and you want to pass this information on to someone else. Whatever the case is, I'm happy to have been able to look over it and share this with you guys as well. Let me know down in the comment section below what you think. And if you could, go ahead and hit that subscribe bell down below. I would really appreciate it. And it also tunes you guys on for any type of future videos where I'm talking about other unique things that we have seen on the airsoft industry, or even new and upcoming things within the airsoft industry as well. I have a lot of fun with it. I'm one of those autistic airsoft nerds, and I have a collection of cameras that I can share this experience with you guys as well. So stay tuned for the next video. Hopefully I will see you guys in the future, and stay in tune with things that are coming down the pipeline. I'm always excited to show new and exciting things to you guys as well. So you guys take care, stay safe, stay positive, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.